For several hours now, we've been getting reports from various sources that US forces are and have evacuated from a number of bases, primarily in Iraq, Qatar. There are some in Saudi, I think, and also possibly Syria. That all but essential personnel are being moved to positions of safety. The essential personnel who remain are on high alert and will be preparing to move to sort of hard protective areas if Iran responds to an attack from America. Now, at the same time, I'm told that that embassies throughout the Middle East, Western embassies, this probably includes the UK, are also on high alert. And all over the world, it's possible that Israeli embassies are on high alert. This has been going on for some time. I know that security agencies across Israel are on alert. And I also hear that some officials have been speaking off the record to reporters, suggesting that Israel isn't distancing itself from an American response to what's happening in Iran, but that this is being led by America. If you remember the missiling by first Israel and then America of Iran's nuclear sites inside Iran, this broke the mold. Israel has done it before, but the American involvement, necessitated by the fact it was such a complex operation, really broke the seal. This means that it'll be possibly easier for America to do the same again. Now, if America does act against the regime in response to what the regime is apparently doing to the tens of thousands of protesters, we understand at least several thousand have died in the more than 2 weeks protests against the regime, and that US President Donald Trump has said that they will react very strongly if jailed and arrested protesters are hanged. Now, this rests upon the possibility that a number of protesters, including this 26-year-old shopkeeper, Irfan Sultani, who was arrested west of Tehran, it's been suggested that he would be executed sometime today. That's Wednesday. We don't know what the situation is there, but Donald Trump has spoken out very strongly against this going ahead and others going ahead, and he has said he will react. His forces will react very strongly. Now, if America attacks, they're obviously they're trying to get US forces in position to launch an attack if it's going to take place. That means warplanes, aircraft carriers moving into position, and also putting personnel who are already all over the Middle East in positions of safety in anticipation of an Iranian response, which would likely to be quite a strong response too, and almost certainly will affect Israel too. Trump is unpredictable, but behind the scenes, he will already know what is going to be done in response to what's happening within Iran. I think there is I'm going to say almost an inevitability about an American attack. That means there will almost certainly be an Iranian response. So I would expect the next hours, days to be quite tense across the Middle East. I've spoken to several sources today asking for their advice. These are former intelligence officials, and they have suggested it's looking like there's a certain momentum leading to that. This is the kind of language they use, leading to that conclusion, which means that an attack, when they say could be imminent, you're talking hours or days. I would think possibly hours. And crucially, we need to understand that one of the main things to consider when they are planning an attack is that they must not harm civilian targets. The Americans will want to keep those who are protesting against the regime on board and still anti-regime. The regime has constantly been trying to feed this anti-Israeli and American feeling by suggesting that America and Israel are behind the protests, that they have somehow been fomenting it via intelligence operations and generally being disruptive. The Iranians are keen to reframe what is quite clearly anti-regime, sincere anti-regime sentiment because of the appalling economic handling of Iran and all the sort of human rights abuses. They're trying to reframe this as something that America has encouraged. They do not want to attack civilians within Iran. So what will they attack? They will probably target the kind of shadowy Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, of which there are several 100,000 operatives, and their bases, their headquarters, their training grounds, some of the secret police targets. They didn't previously, but it's possible that they could target the regime and indeed the ultimate figurehead, the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. We don't know, but these protests do change the way in which American intelligence may view their actions against Iran. Previously, they didn't want to, destroy the regime, attacking figureheads. They wanted to attack the military, but it may be that they feel the protesters have changed the narrative and that it is time to cut off the head of the Iranian regime.